More than 1 year ago, we received our board gaming table, the Bristol, from Geeknson. After hours of playing on the table, let's talk about why you want or don't want a board game table. This is not a sponsored review. So, when you're watching this video, you are probably thinking about getting a board gaming table. The open door I need to kick in is, if you are going to spend money on a table, don't cut on the costs, buy the right size that fits you. Don't buy the table that is slightly smaller and thus cheaper. You will pay for this in experience. Now, let's start with the elephant in the room. No, not that one. This part will be about my experience with the customer support and the process regarding my requests. Now, for clarity, part of my requests are still pending when filming this video. This video is just to share my experience, not a way to strong arm a company. If you want to skip this part, timestamps are down below. When I received my table, not everything fitted. Some of the holes were too big in the metal frame, so some screws would just go through the frame instead of holding onto it. Also, some of my leaves were bent, as if they traveled to my home in a convertible in an upright position. I filed a complaint and very quickly Geeknson responded. They sent me new screws and a maintenance box for the table, which I guess I should have received in the first place, but I didn't. They told me to place some heavy objects on the table to straighten the leaves. Now, I am not a rocket scientist, but my leaves were bent inwards, and they will be bent back into shape by applying more pressure on them. Unfortunately, the screws I received were the exact same, so I was no further. Again, I made a complaint, and again they responded quickly. They said they knew what the problem was and they would send me new screws. They did. They were perfect. Only downside was I had to wait 4 months to get them. Oh, and I almost forgot. For this or the previous parcel, I had to pay import fees because they sent them from the UK, and after Brexit, it is no longer part of the customs union. Now, after a while, the leaves really didn't get any better. Even worse, if you ask me. So again, I mailed them. And after some back and forth, I would receive 3 new leaves and 1 end leaf. Now, I had to wait almost 9 months for the leaves to drop at my doorstep. Did I say leaves? I was supposed to get 4. I only got 1. The end leaf was added on later on in the conversation. And somehow there was a mix-up, so I only received that one. The guys that came over to deliver the leaf made some pictures and told me I should ask for replacement of all my leaves. He said they were all bad. Now, I might like to bitch at people and stuff in our videos, but I generally have a hard time complaining to people and companies face to face. So I really felt like I was being an over-complaining customer. But after the guy said they were all bad, I felt much better, and again I emailed them and told them about the employee, and he also asked me to write down on paper, which I did. Now, after a couple of weeks, I received a call that my leaves were ready to be transported. I was so excited, but I thought, let's just ask for clarity's sake on how many leaves I would get. I will let you take a moment to guess. Did you say 3? You are correct. After some deliberation, I said just send them. But I do stress again that I would like to receive all leaves. Now, within a week, I received my package. Out of the 3 leaves, 1 was so badly warped that I actually didn't fit it in the table. 1 had so much resin in the grooves that the rubber membrane of the connecting leaf actually sticks to it and tears the rubber up. So again, I made pictures and sent them to Geeknson. Now, they have sent me an email that they will call me. I sure hope they do, but as you can guess, the whole process that should have been exciting is only giving me the feeling that I'm nagging and I'm not able to enjoy the full experience of my table. I do really feel that Geeknson acts like a mature company. Mistakes can be made, I make them all the time. They really try to handle my requests and fix the issues. I, however, believe that part of the issue is that the leaves are too long and thus have a big tendency to warp and curve. This is a problem in the design, and maybe the leaves should have a longer resting time in the warehouse. And they should be checked if warping and curving occurs before they send them out. I would love to hear from you about your experiences in the comments down below. Now back onto the topic. Like I said, I bought a table from Geeknson. We already had a dining table and chairs. Our chairs had wheels, so they were easy to move, and they had armrests. That meant that they were pretty big and high. Now I measured everything multiple times, and still, when I got my table, the armrests didn't fit under the table. First, I looked at an easy way to increase the height of the table. But after some testing, it would all come down to the table being up to my armpits. That doesn't eat well, and I'm a pretty big guy, standing at almost 2 meters tall or 6.5 feet. My wife, or Frank for example, are not that tall, so their experience would be even worse. So I had to get rid of the chairs and get new chairs. Now this is clearly my fault. I had to have screwed up some measurements or read a drawing wrong. But you can learn from my mistakes. You will probably buy the table via Kickstarter or GameFound. Before you back the project, take a good look on the website at the tables they already produced. And is this new table really the best one they have? When I first really wanted a board game table, I wanted the Megan table from Geeknson. I looked at tables from Wormwood, they looked very good too, but they were more of an antique style, if you ask me, and that isn't really my style or my wife's. And also, they were pretty expensive. Now, after some deliberation with my wife, we decided not to buy the Megan table. We could just keep using our regular dining table. I couldn't let it go, so when Geeknson launched their next campaign, it was the Bristol Board Game Table. I was again all over it. This time, my wife was sick of my nagging and went along with my wishes. I actually wanted a table with a slide dash rail that lets you move drinks on the outer ring. But the Bristol didn't have that feature. Also, the waterproof mechanic was different. Instead of letting the water flow down a groove onto the floor, it just traveled along the top leaves into a small area in your table. So a spill might still do harm to your table. The leaf storage solution on this table was definitely 10 times better than with the Megan. Having the leaves hung under the table out of reach of your legs instead of a box somewhere in the room where you need to put the leaves into is way better. Now, with my Bristol Board Game Table, I no longer believe I need that slide or rail on the outer rim. I'm afraid someone will miss it and break the component that is in the rim. The fact that drinks are stored in cups inside the table is in my opinion better. I do believe the dining part of the Megan might be better due to the shorter length of the leaves. Like I said in the part with my experience with customer support, I believe that the warping of my leaves is in part thanks to the length of my leaves. Now let's talk about options. Many tables give you a variety of options to choose from. One of the more obvious ones is lights and USB ports. Now I can only speak from Dutch housing here, but most of our floors are of concrete and all new homes have floor heating. Now to get electricity to my table, I need a power outlet. These are generally not on the floor, so you need to get one from the wall. Now you have a loose cable on the floor. If you're lucky, your outlet is somewhere you can't walk past, say under the dining bench. If you have a home like mine, you can't. And you need to put your cord somewhere around the table where people can trip over it. To solve this issue, they need to provide a battery inside the table. The LED lights don't suck up that much of the electricity, and having your device charged on the table should be no issue either. Other options could be acrylic storage boxes or acrylic screens. These can be useful depending on the games you'd like to play. I was not expecting them to break that easily, one of my acrylic storage boxes fell from a height of 25 centimeters or some 10 inches and it broke into 2 pieces. Luckily for me, some glue and it was fixed, but I thought that it would be way more sturdy. With the Bristol Board Game Table, you had a tray which has magnets, so you can put it on the corner of your table. Ideal to place a bowl with snacks or chips into it. I also got 2 corner pieces that should fit nicely into the tray, but mine are not fitting because one of my triangles is out of shape. It is not that big of a deal, but it's just another point where I feel the production of the components is rushed or has loose quality control. One thing I definitely regret is that I didn't take the insert elevator that lets you raise the interior of the table. For camera shots, that would have been a great addition, but also for smaller children that don't need to reach too far into the vault. I have to admit that I don't really use the card rail, which has to do with the fact I don't have the acrylic screens that help protect against peeping toms. The token spot on the armrests aren't used that much too. But that has to do more with the fact that I have those 4 acrylic storage boxes that I do use a lot. One very interesting thing that I almost forgot, yes, this table is waterproof, but mine isn't waterproof everywhere thanks to the curved leaves. All in all, I am still very happy with my board gaming table, just not with the dining part. You might have noticed that I haven't done any oil work on the leaves yet. That has everything to do with my pending request at Geeknson. Again, I am sure that Geeknson will eventually solve my request. If they do, I'll be sure to let you know in a short video. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, comment or subscribe. Thank you for watching and we'll see you in the next video.
Yeah.